What's up, everybody? Nemo here. It's that time of year, the beginning of the year. Lots of people are going to make resolutions that they plan on breaking before they even make them. Men especially, and women especially. Women are more fickle than we are. You know, they like to start things that they don't intend on finishing. But we, as men, definitely are not immune to this. This is why I do not make New Year's resolutions. It's retarded. In my opinion, that is one of the dumbest things you can do. And you will never be strong enough to do them all unless you are just a very stubborn, bullheaded person. And I am. But even then, I took my New Year's resolutions very flippantly. I wasn't very serious about them. So, a number of years ago, I decided not to make resolutions, but to set goals. I figure that if you set a goal, you're more than likely going to pay it a lot more credence and work a little bit harder toward attaining that, making that a milestone, something that we can achieve, a mountain to climb, an obstacle to overcome. In my opinion, that is far more valuable than just saying, I'm going to quit smoking, I'm going to quit drinking, I'm going to quit screwing around, I'm going to quit this, and I'm going to start that, and I'm going to diet and exercise. Blah. But a goal requires more thought, a little more foresight. You need to sit and think and challenge yourself. What didn't I do enough of in the last year that I can improve on moving forward? So, I'm going to go over my list of my top 10 so far that I just came up with today off of the top of my head of what I plan on doing in 2018 that I may have started and accomplished some of and need to finish, or just things that I want to improve, because I'm always on a quest to make myself a better man than I was before, whether it's 5 seconds before, 5 minutes before, 5 days before, or 5 years before. I'm always on a search, on a goal to improve who I am. So, number one, get below 200 pounds. I have not been below 200 pounds since high school. Probably, I would say maybe junior year of high school, and that was fucking like 16 years ago. So, I've always been overweight. I've always struggled with weight. I've always struggled with food. And I made great leaps and strides with that in 2017, which you already know of because I talk about it. I'm very proud of my accomplishments. Pounds so far since May 2017. And I plan on losing the last 35 pounds to get to 200. Now, will I get to 200 pounds and stop? No. I would actually like to get down to, I don't know, 180, 175, but that's going to take some work. And I plan on continuing way past when I drop to 199.9 pounds. So that's number one. I think of all of these goals, that is the only one that is in a definite order. That is my number one priority for this year, not just for my looks, but for my health and my general well-being, is to shed some of this weight that I've been carrying around for a long time. So that is priority goal number one. What I listed as number two is to take at least one hike a week. I want to do at least 52 different hikes. 18. Now, I could hike the same trail multiple times during this, but at least once a week and go on a hike. That is something that I, honestly, in the last 3.5 years, and right when I got divorced in 2013, that was pretty much all I would do was hike. It was very therapeutic. It also gave me plenty of exercise, which I will need to get one taken care of. To take at least one hike per year. And number three is a very paramount thing. A development towards a more positive self. Me, that doesn't come off in a video, is that I'm a very negative person when it comes to myself. To a better vantage point this year of looking in the mirror, what stares back at me. Not just for the physical aspect, you know, I want to be happy with how I look physically, but I want to look at myself. And for once, I don't want to see all of the flaws and all of the negative things that I've done. I want to look at myself and feel content, proud, even, you know, for lack of some better terminology. I want to look at myself and be happy with who I am. And that's something that's going to take a lot of work, because I can look at this screen right now and see my face on the webcam and immediately pick out a fucking handful of things that I hate about what I see. And I'd like to minimize that in 2018. Number 4, I want to listen to more new music this year than I did last year. Music is a very important part of my life. I get a lot of enjoyment, and I get a lot of, some of my best introspective moments come from when I listen to good quality music, especially things that have lyrics that kind of touch me in a weird way. You know, not like I need to touch on a doll where the song touched me, but it makes me think, and it makes me be more introspective. And I'm going to say that a lot of my lack of listening to new music last year was probably due to I was stuck in a miserable situation that I didn't want to be in, and just didn't have the time or the energy to search for new music. That's why my top albums from 2017, most of them either came out post-September or I found out about post-September. Actually, I need to make a video about my top albums of last year, but I'll tell my number 1 album last year came out in May, and I didn't hear it until mid-December. So yeah, that shit is fucked up, and I want to completely eradicate that in 2018. I mean, I have a fucking subscription to Google Play Music, so I can listen to all the new releases as soon as they come out. So there's no excuse for me not to be more involved in new music in 2018. So that is also a goal. Another goal is to read more. One thing about me is when I was younger, I was always a voracious reader. I read as much as I could, as often as I could. And you would have to pry a book out of my hand to make me go to sleep. You would have to, you know, find me passed out on my bed with my glasses on and take them off and take the book out of my hand because I had fallen asleep while reading. And I can't even count the number of books I read in 2017. The only memorable one that I read The Feminist Lie by DDJ. Other books, they're on the bookshelf behind the flag. Haven't read them. Need to read them. So reading more is another goal. I would like to at least read 20 books this year, which I think is a pretty conservative number of books, and I'll try to keep track of that. And you know, some of these resolutions, some of these goals, I'll try to go back to, you know, throughout the year in videos and talk about my progress toward these goals. So moving on. Number 6, this one's really important. It should have been further up the list, but, you know, these aren't really in any order. But that is to build financial stability. Now, the past 8 years of my life have been in relationships. And I already have not had the best success with money in my life to begin with. Now, put a woman on top of that who, well, we all know female nature. I haven't been building any financial wealth, and I'm 34 years old. You know, it's kind of I'm getting a late start in savings, because I would like to eventually be able to work part-time. You know, I probably will never retire because I like to work, but it'd be nice to not have to work so hard at some point in my life. So I would like to get into saving, have a savings account for a fucking change and not touch it. And, you know, I'd like to invest in precious metals, especially silver. I'd like to invest in the stock market. I would like to do all these things, but I need to build a solid foundation. And I think starting with savings and building from there will be nice. And also, not just to save money, but to cut costs, to live more minimally. And I think I do a pretty good job, not just because I haven't had any money recently, really, but ever since September when I separated from my ex, I have lived a more frugal existence. I don't spend money that I don't need to spend. I don't buy things that I don't need or don't intend to use regularly. Regularly, this is at least once a week. If I'm not going to use it at least once a week, I don't buy it. I don't have a car loan. I rent my space here at this house. But other than that, my bills are very minimal. I mean, I have a cell phone. I have one credit card that I'm working on paying off. Um, you know, car insurance, gas, all the basic necessities and food. But other than that, I don't really want for much. But I do vape. Obviously, you've seen me use my vaporizer and you've seen my reviews. So, maybe I can cut down on some costs there. And I still smoke from time to time. So I definitely already have a plan to save money that way. I'll talk about that in another video. But yeah, I want to build financial stability and start, my path to being more financially secure. And this one also involves wealth, but a different kind of wealth. Number 7 is I want to be wealthy in emotional and intellectual knowledge. And what I mean by this is not only do I want to gain more intellect, not only do I want to become smarter in that regard, but I also want to have more control over my emotional reactions to things. Now, I'm not an emotional decision maker. I don't tend to let my emotions carry me away, but there are times where I don't know how to properly, deal with an emotional decision that comes up, and I kind of just go on the fly. I don't want to do that anymore. I'd like to be a more Charles F. Gray kind of thing when it comes to my emotions. Keep everything in check and weigh out options before making rash emotional decisions. When you could step back and put a more logical spin on that emotional decision, if you can understand what I mean. But that is another goal, is to build my knowledge base both intellectually and emotionally. And this next one does involve the purchase that I plan on making in 2018, is to purchase a kayak and paddle the shit out of it. Now, I'd like to purchase a kayak probably toward the end of spring, beginning of summer, and when I have free weekends where I don't work either of my jobs or where I'm not being a father, or even when I do have my son, to start going camping and to kayak as much as possible, because that's something I love doing. It's another way that lets me decompress and go into introspection mode for a while. And I just really enjoy that activity. So I'd like to buy my own kayak and paddle the shit out of it in 2018. And then this one is kind of it's a big one. Like, I want to do this completely, but also not completely. And that's disconnect from living life digitally. And mainly that is, for me, Facebook. It's a retarded time waster. I spend way too much time looking at it when I could be doing any number of intellectual pursuits. Same thing with YouTube. When I get bored and I just watch YouTube videos and don't do anything in the meantime, I'd like to stop doing all of that. I'd like to live more in my actual reality. But that also doesn't mean that I'm going to give up doing YouTube, because I like this. I find therapy and I find value in it. But maybe just not spend so much time just wasting time on the internet, especially with Facebook. I did this last year, in 2017. For the first 5 or 6 months of the year, I barely went on Facebook at all, and I felt so much more free than I did when I was constantly doing this motion, just staring off into digital stupidity and nothingness. So to disconnect some from living digitally is another goal that I have in the now current year. And this one, it's going to seem kind of cliche and it's going to seem kind of retarded. there. I'm gonna try not to use that word. It makes me sound less intelligent. It seems kind of cliche and simplistic, and maybe even a bit daft, but is to love myself so I can love my family and friends more than I ever was previously capable. And as I said at the beginning, I have a very hard time loving myself. I'm very critical of myself, and I browbeat myself all the time. I deal with depression, so I'm constantly berating myself and calling myself a piece of shit, and it really impedes my ability to love others the way that I feel they should be loved from me. That involves my son, that involves my parents, my sister, my sisters, even the dog. And as much as I'm a misanthropic son of a bitch, there are some certain people in the world that I actually do hold in a high regard and have some esteem for and care for. Maybe I don't treat them the way that I should treat them. And I think I would like to improve on that in the coming year and in the future. These don't just stop when we roll the clock over again in 363 days, whenever this is posting, whatever. You understand where I'm coming from. My personal resolve will be higher in 2018. 2017 saw me at very many low points. I ended a 4-year relationship and engagement. I lost my job of 2 years. I was told that I was going to die by my doctor if I didn't, straighten up and turn my health situation around. And honestly, this year has been one of the worst years for my depression and all the negative side effects from that. I've battled it harder and longer this year, and gone down to depths that I haven't gone to in a long time. Even toward contemplating suicide for a while, and that's somewhere I never want to be again. And speaking on that note, if you watch this and you think about taking that permanent solution to your temporary problems, I will tell you from going there, mentally and sometimes physically several times, that it's not something that you want to do. There's always a way around. And if you want to take this video and call it stupid and downvote it all you want, that's fine. But there will always be another human in this world that will value the life that you're living and not want you to go to that permanent solution. And I'm saying this coming from a place of a man who has battled depression and suicidal thoughts for a long, long time. And I don't like to broadcast that to the forefront very much. But if I can help someone to not do something stupid, then that would be a great thing for me to reflect on in this year, this current year, this new current year. And as far as the whole YouTube thing goes, I'd like to grow my channel more. I would like to be more varied in the things that I do. I would like to do more product reviews. I like doing the vape reviews. I like that. I'd like to do some more product reviews. So, when the time comes when I buy things, I might review it. And I also like doing the new content that I'm providing for you. This type of content. Speaking with men about men's issues, and maybe let's call it kind of sort of pseudo MGTOW. Maybe I'm a pseudo MGTOW monk. I don't fucking know. I don't like labeling things, but I like having male discussions. I enjoy building bonds and helping other men, and I would like to continue that in 2018. So with that, whenever you're seeing this video, thanks for watching. I encourage you. I encourage you to like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you hit the bell so you get all notifications. as I plan on producing more content for you. Good night, gentlemen. Good night, Meg. Good night, MGTOW. This is Howard Dare. That wasn't Howard Dare. That was me. But anyway, this has been Nemo. This has been my goals for 2018. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a good evening.